Hello, everyone, and welcome to this one pot. I've got half a glass left of lavender iced tea. That's fine. We're here talking about E3, and I'm joined again by Rin. We're just gonna leave me hanging.
I said hi.
It did not come through.
Uh-oh.
Curse you, internet. Okay. So, we watched, like, most of E3. You only didn't watch, what, Gearbox?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, the Gearbox one was not worth watching.
Oh, good. I didn't miss anything
It was
important.
15 minutes of Randy Pitchford being a greaseball on the set of
20 years.
the Borderlands movie. Why we needed that, I don't know. But let's get into it. We're going to start with the Xbox showcase, since it was probably, between Xbox and the Nintendo showcase, were the best ones of E3. Everyone else basically phoned it in my opinion. I think that's pretty fair. Like, even the PC show was kind of eh.
I suppose. I actually didn't mind the PC show. They showed a lot more game footage and clips than, well,
there was two Ubisoft. Ubisoft. You showed one game, basically, like one or two games. It was like all they showed, really. And it was like updates to Valhalla. But it was weird that they were like, we're not gonna do a Assassin's Creed this year. It's just gonna be updates to Valhalla.
Which, to be fair, I'm curious about, but I have not reached the point where I want to actually get Valhalla yet. So
I mean,
we'll
you
see
see it cheap enough for Xbox or something, you know. You can play it here. I've got two Xboxes. It's not like I couldn't spare you one.
someday.
Anyway, let's start with the Bethesda Xbox showcase, because that was pretty good. A decent amount of variety. Lots of shooty games, but there's always a lot of shooty games. It opened up with Starfield and an in-engine cinematic that looked really good, but didn't tell us much about the game besides the release date, which was November 11th, 2022, if I remember correctly.
Right?
Yeah. What did you think of the extra beautiful ship and the sandwich? Was that the best sandwich you've ever seen in a video game?
Well, the graphics were pretty good. Not sure I would want that sandwich, but each their own.
Yeah, how long had it been sitting there?
Yeah, that would be my question, but you know. I'm always a huge fan of space exploration, so I'm totally geeking out about the fact that, ooh, what can I do in this, we're gonna go colonize some worlds, or we're gonna go explore some stuff. So I wanted to see a little bit more of that than that.
Yeah, you were not the only one. The sandwich was not good enough to sustain our hunger for more info on this game. It still hasn't stopped Twitter from, like, speculating about what the game will be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're in space, wearing spacesuits. Are we doing spacewalks? Are we doing, you know, lunar landings? Like, what are we doing? Show me something.
Well, there was guns. We saw a big gun. It had like a warning on it, though. Was that mean like the safety wasn't on or something?
Out of batteries?
I guess it could have been a laser gun. The trailer left a lot to be desired for both of us. I think this was fair to say. We'll probably see more of it closer to launch, probably sometime next year. So cool. We saw the game. Would have liked to actually see the game.
Exactly.
And then they went into a pretty lengthy section of Stalker 2. And that was pretty impressive, actually. It looked less janky than Metro. What were your thoughts on Stalker?
I thought it looked gorgeous. But yeah, it looked a lot like I'm seeing Metro again.
And as I was explaining, I can't remember, it's it's like SCP World or something. I can't remember the developer's name. Don't skewer me if I don't remember it. But a lot of the Metro devs left them when after Skies of Chernobyl, I believe is the game, to form 4A Games, which went on to make the Metro series. So there's a lot of cross DNA between the two of them, and they're similar country of origin. But Stalker 2 was really cool. I like the when he's looking for the anomaly and that crazy railgun type weapon that like he fired it and all the little leggies went up and they like came back down really slow.
I thought the marketing material was really good. I loved how they used the gameplay videos with the story narrative.
Yeah, and the characters standing on the campfire telling stories, yeah.
Yeah, it had a lot of personality. I thought
the guy on the left apparently was the series creator.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the one who's like, whatever, Stalker. At the very end, that was they were talking about that in the extended Xbox event, which was also pretty good, hosted by Paris Lilly, a guy I follow on Twitter. He's a cool dude. And then there's Back 4 Blood, which is Left 4 Dead 3, basically.
It looks exactly the same with nicer graphics.
And unfortunately, the it being a day one on Game Pass was leaked before E3 by WB. Good job on their YouTube page. But being in Game Pass will be really good for this game, I think, because there's probably a lot of people like me that are like, I don't know if I want to spend full price to play this game.
But I like the addition of the big boss. Like in Left 4 Dead 2, you have the tank. That's the largest thing you fight that I've seen. But you get this big Mondo building-sized, giant in front of you, and you're trying to fight that. I thought that was a cool addition.
Apparently, I was just listening to an interview with the game director, and he was talking about how there's a lot of you actually can explore and get permanent upgrades. Copper, okay. Copper's their currency in the game for buying stuff, and you make a deck for your character before you go in with perk cards.
Okay, see, I like that better. They put some thought into some of the gameplay.
Yeah, so in Left 4 Dead 2, there was what they called the Director, and Back 4 Blood has the same kind of deal, but they also have a deck. So mutations and stuff will come up when the mission happens. So you can get the It's Nighttime card gets played, and limited visibility or different rain, rain or effects like that. Also, that makes
a lot of difference for replay.
Yes, yeah, I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. So the story won't always be the same. I feel like they, Left 4 Dead 2 does the bare minimum of that. And yeah, we've only played on the normal skill because there's only 2 of us. I don't want to, because if you open it up for public people and you're just playing with someone who's never played through the game, you're gonna get swarmed with people who are killers or just want to rush through it as fast as possible, and that's not what we were after when we were playing Left 4 Dead 2. So I do have high hopes for Back 4 Blood. I hope it is cool. I'm looking forward to getting to play it in October. I think that was the 12th or the 28th, something like that. It's 2nd or 4th week of October. Looks
in time
cool.
For Halloween.
Yeah, it's spooky month. It's a good time to release it. Do you have anything to add on Back 4 Blood?
Nope.
Okay. The next thing we saw was Contraband, which had good music and is a co-op something involving contraband, I'm assuming. It's made by Avalanche Games, which made the which made Rage 2, and they also made the Max Payne game that not Max Payne, sorry, Mad Max game that didn't suck. So, oh, got myself with some tea. I expect there to be cars. I expect there to be driving, and I expect there to be an open world. That's about all I got from the information that is available for that game. And that truck was really muddy.
An eel wind blows from
Okay,
beyond the
I think we're good on that one.
A new danger is coming on the
Yeah.
Okay.
and the one who
Major thoughts. I'm like, is it a heist?
I think it's a heist game, and I'd be okay with that.
now
But then I just want to play Running in the 90s forever.
you must start
Anyway, the next thing they announced was the Pirate's Life update for Sea of Thieves, which added in characters from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Didn't realize we had company.
And my mom was really enjoying this. She was like very interested as soon as she saw Jack Sparrow.
Already knew that.
You have no idea. She's like, oh. I'm like, I don't know if. So I might have to like play this game when mom's around for her to enjoy it.
Followed him here. And if it's not stopped, this world
I'm not a big Johnny Depp fan, but I mean, I know there are a lot of people out there who love him, so
I think
he
it
was
was.
quirky, he was funny. I mean, it might be enjoyable to watch another sort of crazy adventure. Although, is this really the craziest we've seen Jack Sparrow?
Popping into a video game and like I don't know. Someone said it's not actually Johnny Depp, but I can't
Oh.
be sure. It kind of sounds like it. If it's an imposter, it sounds pretty close. So,
Yeah, he's doing pretty good.
but I don't know. I'm not gonna no quote unquote saying anything there. It could actually be Johnny Depp. It could not be Johnny Depp. Until they've actually said one way or the other, I'm not gonna be saying it's not or it is. But that's just what I heard. Sea of Thieves had a kind of rocky launch back when it started, but has been doing really good and people love it now. This is a cool update and kind of makes sense with all the Xbox Disney stuff that's been going around. Like if you think about it, like there was that Disney whatever game on Game Pass, Disneyland Adventures I want to say.
thieves, eh?
It's been sitting on Game Pass for like ever, and I'm like, I've never downloaded and played it. I don't know if it's still there, but I remember seeing it and thinking it was kind of weird and out of place. Then they've done 2 30-day trials of Disney Plus, and are working with them on a couple other projects like the Indiana Jones game that's coming from the now Microsoft-owned Machine Games, and who knows what else. But that was kind of cool. Then there was a huge bit on Battlefield 6. Not my kind of game. Not Rin's kind of game. The storm was cool. The big tornado.
It was interesting. I mean, launching the truck off the building and hitting the helicopter with it, I can see someone getting a kick out of doing that.
Very Die Hard.
Yeah.
Still Live Free or Die Hard, where he takes out the helicopter with the police car.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
like they're channeling some more of those action sequences
And
rather
for
than
a,
just straight out gunfire.
yeah, and for a game like that, that is just you want that in your FPS multiplayer game. You want people to do stupid things. So I'm sure the people that love Battlefield will. It's not Battlefield 6. It's 3042 or something, or 2034. I can't remember the actual numbers. This is Battlefield 6. I'll leave it at that. It's a new Battlefield game. Looks cool. Then they showed a bit of 12 minutes where I still have no idea what this game's about.
So, how was your day? I have
The
That was
whole
the-
narrative journey is 12 minutes that you play through over and over and over. It might be getting a little frustrating. But it has some star power, so
Yeah, I'm on the fence about that one. I might try it. Game Pass game. Then there was a little bit on Psychonauts 2, which is out in August. I know you were not the biggest fan of the character designs, but this is Tim Schafer. He makes weird looking stuff. They reminded me of Broken Age.
a little bit, yeah.
But I guess Psychonauts is older than that. I haven't actually played through Psychonauts. I had a PC version way back in the day, but I could never get it to work for some reason. It was broken. Or never got patches on the physical store release. And I bought it clearance at like a Zellers or something before they closed up shop forever. So yeah, never got to actually play Psychonauts. I tried a bit of it on Game Pass because they just added it not that long ago, and it definitely has that original Xbox jank to it. And I got to see the Majesco logo, which I hadn't seen in... When's the last time you remember Majesco?
I don't even remember Majesco.
Yeah. They did like that game, Drake of the 99 Dragons, I think, and a couple others that I couldn't remember. Yeah, they were those guys. But Psychonauts was actually a good game, but I think it didn't do very well critically because Psychonauts 2 is a Kickstarter game, which is why it's so big, because Tim Schafer said that after Psychonauts 2 they want to do smaller games, which is kind of what he's good at. You know the other games Tim Schafer's worked on, right?
Few.
Okay, I'm just making sure, because I know you've played some of the other ones, so. Alright, then there was talk of Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Online and the new updates coming to them. Neither of us played these games, and both had pretty bad experiences with Fallout 76, so moving on.
Oh, fuck. So disappointing. I wanted to love it, but there were too many technical problems.
Yeah, it was not good. Party Animals was next, which I thought was just an update for Gang Beasts, which is a game that plays very similar to it on PC. It's on Steam, been there for a while. This one had a cute cat and animal.
The otter was adorable.
The otter was adorable. Yeah. This looks like a fun party game. Just get your friends and beat each other up and physics-based nonsense. This trailer in particular made my cat get up on the table to come look. I didn't actually get the picture until Somerville, because next up was Hades, which is apparently a critically acclaimed game that won a bunch of awards, and I haven't played yet. And you had thoughts on Hades?
I mean, I'm a classic mythology geek. I just like learning about all those kooky stories, and it's interesting to see that they've given characters to some of these people. So, especially I think I was watching the, I guess the in-depth role, the extended role, and they were talking about, we chose these lesser-known gods. They do exist. It's not something we made up. It's actually in mythology. So it's nice to learn new things that, even I didn't know, knowing some mythology. But I thought it was an interesting art style and interesting characterizations.
I always thought the game was cool, looking, but was always on the fence about if I actually wanted to play it or not, or how much I'd play it. And now it's on Game Pass, so I have no reason not to play it, besides just being lazy. When your life becomes just
other things that are just above prioritization,
I guess. And the next was Somerville, where my cat was full up in front of the TV during it, and I sent you that picture. This one was weird. I was very confused what was going on. And then there was like a family and they were running away from, I guess, was aliens, and there was a
Was
dog.
it War of the Worlds or something? Like, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it was something else, and I'm like, and then they have the whole family there like sleeping on the couch, and a noise happened, and the kid wakes up, and the dog's there, and we're like, if the dog dies, we're out. We're not even gonna play this game.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the dog's gonna keep up with the family when they're running. Like,
Well, dogs are pretty quick. They can run pretty fast, but like, seriously, what? So yeah, that one was kind of a tentative. I need to go check doesthedogdie.com before I play that one. Okay, next up was Halo Infinite. Now, you didn't see the trailer for it last year that got a lot of controversy that caused them to
No.
delay the game. Okay, so you didn't see. They decided to delay the game a whole year. It was going to come out last November with the Series X and Series S, but they delayed it. What did you think of what they showed of either campaign? Because multiplayer was new. They didn't show multiplayer last year at all.
To bring players together.
I'm just reminded of the old 90s Red versus Blue when I see Halo. You know, you have your whole capture the flag and all the standard mini games. They showed a couple of them. It looked nostalgic, but the only thing that I really thought for Halo was, hey, I want to see, if I'm going to be in a multiplayer game, I want to see customizations. I don't want everyone to look the same, and that's why I want to see paint colors on the armors, different armor structures. So they showed a little bit of that, which was nice. So I don't know, beyond, they satisfied my ask. They said there's a new Halo, and that I asked that and they showed it to me, so hey, good for them.
So are you gonna try it? The free-to-play multiplayer?
It's free to play. I don't really have a reason not to.
Yeah, so we can go together then and be completely noobed and destroyed by people who've been playing Halo their entire lives.
Yeah,
which I'm sure is possible at this point, because like it's only 20 years old. So.
Well, are they going to use the same controls? Probably, I suppose.
I would say it would be very similar. Probably not the exact same, because we don't have black and white buttons anymore. What did you think of the campaign trailer with Chief in space? I thought that looked really good.
To not Cortana?
No, when he's like in space and the guy's like, you want to go out there alone? You've only got one bullet. And he's like, it's enough. But it's only got, it's enough. And then it's like, they're like, look, there's another clip. He's good now. He's got more than one bullet. And then he finds another gun. He's like,
he trusts that it will be out there because he's just so I guess so much a master. He knows he'll find another clip. He's fine. He'll just go. And if he
I bet you
doesn't,
he's got like, I bet you his
environment.
visor just like scans out. It's like, bolts right there.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
still
dead soldiers. Yeah, okay, we're good.
We're good. It's like, I just need one bullet to get me from this to that clip. I'm good.
But yeah, I think, and then there was not Cortana, which has just been, that's been a dumb conversation, but I really like her. We don't know her name yet, actually, but she is so far not Cortana. She seems kind of more spunky and less sure of herself. Like, Cortana always seems very cocky, I think is the word I'm looking for.
I suppose she more like she knows what she's the girl with the plan.
Yeah.
As opposed to this one who is more of a I will follow you.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow Chief because Chief always does something stupid like enter a planet without any sort of spaceship.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm getting back.
No, he literally just like jumps out of a ship and breaks orbit in just his suit, and I'm like, okay, Chief. So,
It's like we were gonna land the ship over there. Okay.
oh no, I'm just gonna skydive from
It's
orbit.
like I guess we'll see you on the ground. Bye bye.
Bye, Chief. We love you. Okay.
I mean, just get the detailing ready. We're gonna just have to clean his suit and repaint it again. It's fine. It's fine.
And next they showed off Diablo 2 Resurrected, I believe is what they're calling that one. I know people love Diablo 2. I personally did not care for it back in the day. I liked the original Diablo a lot more. That's sacrilege, and people are going to turn off this video right now, but that's fine. Kind of wanted to see more about Diablo 4.
I'd rather see a new Diablo, not old ones. Like,
Well, they're working on a new one. This is another team that's doing the Diablo 2 remastered. I'm trying to remember the name of the studio because they have worked on other things, but their name is escaping me. It looked
like,
fine.
You have Diablo 3. Why did you need Diablo 2 2.0?
Because
It's
people
2.2.
like Diablo 2 more than 3.
Yeah, but you already did another game. Just finish 4.
People wanted 2, just let them have their 2, it's fine. There's probably another reason for it, but that's fine. Anyway, next we had another cinematic trailer for A Plague Tale Requiem. Neither of us have played A Plague Tale Innocence, and in the extended showcase, they announced that there will be a next-gen console update for A Plague Tale Innocence for anyone who already has it, and it's coming to Switch via cloud streaming at some point. That was not from the announcements, but that was on Twitter later. I saw it. This trailer had a lot of rats in it, and someone looking very determined, and I thought was gonna get eaten in the next few seconds by a giant swarm of rats.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm not. Something about A Plague Tale Innocence made me not really want to play it. I might look at it, but yeah, this game looked it's just something. But it wasn't too sold on the first one. Not that it's bad. People said it was really good, so I'm sure it's good. Next we
It's the
saw.
girl saving her brother. You know,
Yeah, the
it's
first one was the
heartwarming.
girl saving her brother, but we're trying to get somewhere with her brother. But the new one looked more like it was another character entirely is gonna like fight the rats, and I'm like,
Okay.
I don't know. Could be good. Anyway, next was Far Cry 6, and I don't play a lot of Far Cry games. The last one I actually tried to play was Blood Dragon, because that one's absolutely ridiculous. Like, the first gun you get is RoboCop's gun.
80s.
Yeah, it's very 80s. It's got like the laser, and it's almost a little hard in your eyes how rocking that game is. But Far Cry 6 looks interesting. It's got that actor. He was in The Mandalorian. I can't remember his name for the life of me.
Giancarlo. Love Giancarlo. He's in Revolution too. Loved Revolution. He was amazing.
I mean, he's the first trailer they showed of him with his son. I don't know if you've seen that one, where he's like, it's like his son's birthday, and he gives him a grenade, pulls the pin out, and makes his kid drop it on a bunch of protesters from the roof. I'm like, this is not a good man at all.
That's not something you should be teaching a young person.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. It was just like, okay, this is a bad guy. Got it. But he was like, he's cool. And they had that attack rooster thing. I don't know. It was.
I think if I was going to do a minion animal, I would not have chosen an attack rooster. But I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it's geographically relevant.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what fictional part of the world this takes place in, because usually it's like a fictional part of the world. They don't pick like they pick a real place, but they make like a fake place on the real place, like they did with 5 being in America. That was weird. Anyway, next was Slime Rancher 2.
Animal cruelty.
Yes, that's the text I got when we were watching it. This is animal cruelty. Okay. Nothing else for that one?
They're cute, and you're just putting them into this box where they're like sitting on top of each other, and they look like miserable. Well, I don't know if they look miserable. In my mind, they're miserable because they have no space to roam. It's just cruel.
Yeah,
and seriously, you're collecting these creatures. Why do you need 50 of them? Why is 1 or 2 not good enough? Why do you need 50? Just so you can throw them in this, fish
Get
tank.
in your box. Go to your home. Are you too good for your home? Okay, I'm done.
And you gotta share this box with 700 other of yourselves. Ha! No. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what the designers were thinking there, but
Oh no, people liked
no.
it. People were excited. I was just
it's like, oh, we can catch cute things, but not just one. You can get hundreds of them. I think they went overboard a bit.
maybe, I don't know. People like Slime Rancher. Not really my kind of thing, but something different. Something for people that don't believe this is animal cruelty.
Oh,
The next thing they showed off was Shredders, this snowboarding game, which
yes.
apparently is like you can pick whichever way you want to go on the mountain. I don't want to say like it's open world, but the way they were describing it, it kind of is. Like it's not like set past like Cool Borders or something. That's like the only snowboarding game I've ever really played. It's like Cool Borders. So
Yeah, I don't remember if I've ever actually played a snowboarding game. I've done like Tony Hawk's skateboarding, but not snowboarding.
yeah, and again, that's not my area of expertise. If you're into this kind of game, this could be really cool for you. It looked good. Like graphically it looked good. I just hope
I wanted
that
to see wipeouts. They made the player seem too much like a boss. They did not show any wipeouts.
yeah, that's kind of important. That's like if you watch the skiing game or whatever, that's kind of where we always got our thing, was just the most ridiculous wipeouts you could go for.
Exactly. Because you're gonna wipe out. I want to see what that's gonna look like.
I want to see the wicked wipeouts, because if it's
I want
like
to see him smack into the tree and then how he picks himself back up or not.
yeah, I think that's all the thoughts we have on Shredders. I'm sure someone out there was losing their crap over it. It, again, not for us, but if it's yours, that's fine. The next thing they showed was Atomic Heart, and this game, I don't even know how to describe this game. I was confused, I was intrigued, and it just kept going, and I kept being more confused and more intrigued. I had to play it. I'm just like, I have to play it. I just want to play this.
I really liked the creature design. I thought they were interesting. It was unique. The environments look like a blatant rip-off of Mass Effect to me, but
I think they
the
were going for that
character
kind of
designs-
industrial look. Like it was
maybe.
like
But I mean, that first scene they show you with the museum, it looked like literally the out of Mass Effect Andromeda, where you're standing in the museum and the staircase goes down, and you even stop and look at the little exhibit in the same places. I'm like, maybe they need to refresh their level maps so that it looks a little bit different. But I mean, the creatures were amazing. How they move.
it's not like you can really patent the level design. If it was like straight ripped out of it and everything was the exact same, it'd be much easier. like a
Well,
museum is kind of
I think as a designer, you don't want to be in the position where your stuff looks like someone else's. So I don't know, like if someone goes, "This reminds me of that," you might go, "Uh-oh, let me just change a few things."
I mean, I've never played. I don't think I got that far in Mass Effect Andromeda, but I haven't played any of the other ones, and was not super familiar with some of them. So, it's fine for me. Let's just judge the game by what they showed us, and whatever they showed us was weird. There was like this weird thing that came out of the glove. It was like little
That was like little
tentacle-y
nano
yeah, and
circuit
you
wire
found
thing.
this gameplay thing, and it like when you heal, you put the thing in it, and you can use it to like wind up things and adjust other devices.
Yeah.
It's something. This game is something, and I'm just gonna play it because it's on Game Pass. So that's we're gonna do it. Whenever it comes out, I'll look at it. Because that's the only way. The proof in the pudding is in the eating. Next, they showed off that really cool looking pixel art game, Replaced. Which I'm not sure what's about, but definitely looked cool.
I thought it was really pretty. I think in terms of pixel art, it is top notch. Like, backgrounds were gorgeous, the lighting, even the characters looked amazing, so.
Don't really know too much about it. Probably take a look at it. It's probably pretty low download. Again, it's one of the Game Pass games. There's only a couple games that weren't on Game Pass on here. I believe that was Battlefield, Diablo, and Far Cry that weren't on Game Pass. Every other game we talked about will be. Next up was the Grounded Shroom and Doom update. Grounded is that game that's basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the game. But it's a survival sim, sort of.
So what, they added more, I guess, base management, like you can build things.
Yeah, you could build buildings, you could make bricks out of mushrooms, mushroom stuff. You had to grind it up and then bake it into bricks with new buildings and stuff. They were going on about it in the extended showcase. I honestly don't think it was a bad call or bad play. It looks fine. I've tried Grounded a couple times and it really just isn't my thing. I'm not super big on these survival sims. I don't mind
the style where you go, you craft, you stay alive as long as possible, you fight the monsters. Kind of like tower defense-y.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know if you really tower defense stuff. They added a bunch of stuff for the Shroom and Doom update. I think they're out of early access with this, or was it? I can't remember what the Xbox equivalent of early access is called, but it's been in early access for a while. They just added achievements.
Yeah, they were so proud of that. We have achievements.
Yeah. Next up was Thedium Chronicles. This was a Kickstarter game. I have been informed that was made by the original creator of Suikoden. I don't have that title in front of me, so I can't be confirmed on the pronunciation, but it looked interesting. It's something probably my brother will play, maybe not me. I think you had about the same. You were just like, eh. They did a really poor job showing it off here. The trailer showed a bunch of really well-drawn character profiles, and the combat they showed was very pixel arty and just a tiny bit of what the game was like. But I guess it's hard to show off like a JRPG that isn't Final Fantasy.
There have been so many JRPGs. To WoW, you gotta bring something new to it. So it'll be interesting to see what their new thing is.
Yeah, this was 2 games, to be clear. It was Rising something and 100 Heroes. Honestly, the title was maybe a bit of a problem for me, where I really didn't remember what it was after they showed it the first time, because I was trying to write it down and I'm like, what was this game called again? And no one in the room got it, so
That's the risk of making your own words up.
it might be
No
a
one
real
will
word, who
remember it.
knows? Yeah, unless it's a good word. The Ascent got a very short demo reel here, which honestly did not do the game justice. It is far cooler than it showed it to be. You were not very impressed by this one.
No, I guess not.
Yeah, this is the twin stick shootery kind of deal, but it's actually like an RPG where you're trying to get off the plateau, off this indentured slave planet, by fighting
Yeah.
and doing missions and things. I think
It
if
was
you
kind of like in tactical. It's just more of a strategic. Like, it's not first person; it's third person. So
yeah, but it's still real time, so it's kind of more like Diablo with guns.
or Baldur's Gate if you can't pause. I'm
Maybe
talking
more
the
like
original Baldur's Gate.
maybe more like Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance with guns.
Yeah.
Maybe, but that's another game that's coming soon, Dark Alliance. So I'm not gonna spend too much longer on the Ascent. I'm gonna play it. I was kind of like,
The environments are gorgeous. So
oh yeah, I want to just go through that game with people and be like, this is cool. It's I know it's fully ray traced on the series consoles, which sounds weird for a game like the Ascent, but because it's on a particular angle, you'd have to fake all the reflections. But if you path trace it, it would give you true to life puddle and whatever reflections. So that's the thing. I know it was a big deal. They were talking about it, and it has some really funny weaponry that I was just. And their Twitter account is very on brand. Next, they showed Age of Empires 4. Not my thing. PC only. Like all the Age of Empires games so far have been. But there's
well, they're
elephants.
talking about adding a bunch of new historical, I guess, empires and
Yeah.
more scenarios based from actual history. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that was the thing about the trailer that they didn't really explain well, because they were showing like real life places, is that there's a new like history teaching mode in it.
Yes.
Where yeah, and they have like documentaries in the game, so this could be a cool way to try and get kids to learn a bit about history, maybe by having it
Well, let's
attached
be
to an
honest,
RPG.
how many of us are gonna read it or just click through it? Like, I'd like to see an example to see how engaging it is, maybe.
Maybe, but it's not the only game that Microsoft has that has an educational mode, like Minecraft does. That's a Microsoft game. And another game we're going to talk about a bit. Sorry?
What did Minecraft teach us?
Minecraft has a educational mode where it has all sorts of things in it, like science. There's like science they teach in it, and engineering.
Okay.
Because you can do a lot of. Again, I've never played Minecraft in my life, but
I've never played in the educational mode of Minecraft, so this is new to me. I've never seen that one.
the educational mode is fairly new, but it's got like you can set up like diagrams and stuff, and it shows you how levers and always like you remember when they were trying to teach us how levers worked as a kid
Okay.
and stuff. It's like
fulcrums and whatever.
it's like
yeah.
fulcrums and whatever. It's like yeah, they gave you like a demo, but if you could set up something in like a video game, it would be far more entertaining for a child.
Okay.
So I think that there is definitely this history mode will definitely get some people learning. Will it get everyone learning? Probably not, but it's nice to have. And honestly, I would much rather like see Age of Empire reenactments of a battle than watch like some corny video in a classroom.
Fair enough.
Moving on, we had the most on-brand and probably my feelings about a lot of the cinematic trailers in this showcase was The Outer Worlds 2. That trailer was chef's kiss, beautiful.
I just laughed my ass off. I've never been more entertained by something that showed me absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I know. What was great was that like that's exactly what Starfield did, minus the like slow motion shooting and walking backwards and stuff.
Well, they showed you footage for an experience you've never seen. They didn't show you pre-used existing footage from a previous game with a bunch of voiceovers. So,
Well,
I mean, they showed you something in Starfield, but this one showed you absolutely nothing, and it was still hilarious.
Yeah, because this is kind of on brand for the Outer Worlds and its ridiculous world. I know you haven't played it yet. I played through, I want to say most of it, because I've heard it's pretty short.
I think it's 24 hours, is what they were saying for the playthrough, without DLC.
Yeah, the new DLC sounded interesting, where you're like a detective. You're trying to figure out who murdered the famous star or whatever, but Outer Worlds 2, it's coming. That's basically why they made this. And it's going to be exclusive for Xbox, which I'd never doubted for a second after they bought Obsidian, after the Outer Worlds 1 came out. And Private Division was like...
It's not going to be on PC?
No, it'll be on PC. Okay,
okay.
You need to remember this. If it... PC is Xbox now. If you run Windows is Xbox. I keep saying this to people, and they're like, no, it's not. But it's just the easiest way to do it.
To be honest, I'm the old school. So
Hey, why you type
console. PC is not a console.
Why don't you type in Xbox on your start menu and see what comes up?
Yes, I know. We have an Xbox game bar for recording things. Yes, I know. There's Xbox stuff on here.
PC is Xbox.
Yeah, well, I'm old school. It's different. It's not a console.
It's not a console, but it is Xbox. It
has some software, sure.
But it is Xbox. Anyway, Outer Worlds 2. We saw a hilarious trailer. That's it. Moving on.
The only thing they finished was the title.
The only thing they finished was the title. Yes.
Oh my god.
The next one was Flight Sim and the Top Gun expansion. Flight Sim, absolutely gorgeous. And when people were complaining, like, Flight Sim only runs at 30 FPS on console. Flight Sim only runs at 30 FPS on most PCs. If you're lucky. That's how, like, ahead of the game the Flight Sim is. Like, how, like,
it's all graphics. It's all graphics.
Oh, yeah, it's also, like, a simulator, so it's really CPU heavy. It is quite the game to run. So the fact that they got it running at all on console is a treat. I've heard there's an unlocked frame rate mode. So if you have a variable refresh rate display, it'll go higher than 30 FPS, but probably not much higher.
I remember back in school actually, learning the flight simulator, and, it was not anything. It did not look anything like this. We've gotten to the point where the emphasis is not on learning how to fly the plane anymore. It's just seeing the views when you're flying the plane.
That's part of it, but you have to remember that Microsoft Flight Simulator actually predates Windows.
Yeah, it does. I remember it was on a box. We had it in it was grade 9 tech class.
Yeah, I believe it was the first version.
1999, or sitting there with its own box, its own software running on its own hardware. That
Yeah.
was the flight simulator.
Flight Sim is quite the it is quite the experience, and honestly, I've never played it, but seeing all the screenshots people took of it, it looks gorgeous. This is the kind of game where
You were telling me they had a mode where you can just put on autoflight.
yeah, you can
Like-
actually do even more than that. You can for like chartered flights, like public known flights, you can actually like
Okay,
go
so someone flew
you can
for
go onto the
you.
plane. You can literally go onto the plane, but not like see all the people are on it, but you can like be in the plane and
So it's
look
a
out
flight
over it.
simulator where you're no longer the pilot, you're just a passenger.
Well, you can be. There's also like a drone mode where you can like
Okay.
fly a little drone around. There's a lot to Flight Sim, and it is. I don't think I could do justice because I've never actually played it, but I've seen a lot of content on it, and it's got all sorts of things. But some of the bugs people found were great. I don't know if they're all fixed. I remember in like Australia, there was a house, like a regular house, that for some reason the paperwork that was filed for like how tall buildings were, because that's how they decided how tall to build buildings. They used aerial photography, like satellite photography, and just like records and things,
Okay.
and use the Azure stack to just generate the world based on that. And then there's some spots that are built out correctly, like by people. But there's there was this house in Australia that was 25 stories tall.
Okay.
So it's just like a regular sized house that's just 25 stories tall. So look at just this monolith in the middle of the sky. And everyone's like, the hell is this? Some of the bugs were just legendary, which is kind of surreal in a game that's going for like absolute realism. There's only a couple more and we're done the Xbox One. There was Forza Horizons 5. This is another really pretty game. Like, just... Oh, did I lose you?
No, I'm there. I
Okay.
found the skies were gorgeous. Like, I would just like stare up at those clouds.
Yeah, that was actually funny because watching the extended, they were talking about how they like literally went out with, was it 6K cameras? Like these crazy cameras, and they were like taking video and pictures of the sky to make a authentic skybox for Mexico.
Like, good on you guys. I noticed. Therefore, it made a difference. You didn't have to tell me. I saw it.
Yeah. But like, there was a bunch of people who I was listening to their opinions on it, and they were like, I was looking at the pictures, like the screenshots and like the video, and I was waiting for them to be like, oh yeah, and this is what the game looks like. But it was just the game. I think it reached the point where it was like Uncanny Valley, where it would be hard to tell. I think that's a fair assumption for what they showed us. Even though that car was really shiny to be out in that really dirty looking place. That's the telltale sign right there.
Throw more mud on the cars.
Yeah. And it had this cool new I want to say like a workshop mode, but that's probably the wrong way to word it. It's like you can make your own game modes in it. Looks pretty cool. I'm sure people will make some funny things in there. That's how we'll get our Mario Kart. That's how we'll get our Dragon Kart.
Yes, they'll make it in Forza.
I will download it just to play that. Someone make me a Mario Kart with real car type mode. I'm down, I'll play it. And then they closed out the whole show with a brand new IP from Arcane, called Redfall. And this was interesting. And only cinematic.
Well, it would have been nice to see more some gameplay. I mean, they had 4 interesting characters for their, 4-player co-op. And they had a few different skills. The sniper you didn't see much of. I would have liked to see what he did.
Yeah, he has some like weird eye thing going on and some bird that he can like see through and things. It's
Oh, so he copied Borderlands.
kind of, but let's be honest, Borderlands was kind of meh. And there's also Bloodhound and Apex. Like it's not an original character type, but
Okay.
Sharpshooter dude with a bird is not. It's not
super
a new,
unique, but
new
yeah.
idea, but
Maybe that's why they didn't focus on him as much.
yeah.
But I mean, the other ones were interesting. It was the telekinesis girl. One girl looked like she was more of a, she's in the thick of it. She's the melee tank-like character.
Yeah, there was one like that, and
And one guy was very tech-based. He had like gadgets.
well, the one dude who
and
was like trying to
bots.
document everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was interesting. The one you were talking about who was like kind of tankish, she's apparently ex-military.
Okay.
And is also like a field mechanic, so she has that weird robot thing, and they're fighting vampires. And
So-
apparently you can go completely stealth in this. I don't know if it was completely stealth. They said stealth was an option for things.
Let me ask you. Did it feel like Left 4 Dead for you?
I saw the influence, but maybe when I play the game, it might be completely different. Because if stealth's actually an option, then it is not like Left 4 Dead. It'd be more like something like Hitman or Thief.
I guess it's Left 4 Dead, but with a I mean, the characters are not the same. So they have different abilities, maybe.
Well,
But for me, that's what it felt like. It's playing Left 4 Dead, except you're not fully balanced. You have 4 very different characters. So maybe you have a reason to try all of the characters compared to Left 4 Dead.
that's true. But like Left 4 Dead again is like really kind of an old game at this point.
But let's face it, it's you against these hordes of supernatural creatures. You and your 3 buddies against these hordes of supernatural creatures. But we're not going to use zombies this time. No zombies. We'll do vampires.
I think there's more to it. I think they actually have like a cohesive story.
Yeah, I mean,
Whether or not the games are playable will be another thing, but that's kind of its own sort of deal, right? Like, is this gonna be going for the exact same thing as Left 4 Dead? Because we've got Back 4 Blood now.
Well, Left 4 Dead, what was great about it was like you were playing this little B-movie sequence. I wonder if it's going to be the same sort of thing, or if like, I don't know.
Some people were comparing it to like the one vampire you saw at the end of the street to I think it's the Outsider in Dishonored 2. I can't remember his name. They kind of look similar. This is Arcane that made it, and they don't make a lot of PvP or multiplayer games. I guess they helped. Well, they helped with Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's quite the same as what they're doing here.
Well, I always thought it looked more like Prey. Like you had some of the strange weapons designs taking from Prey more than any of the others.
Are you talking about are you talking about 2006 Prey? Or are you talking about the newer Prey?
The newer one.
Okay. The new Prey would be interesting co-op. Because they had some weird powers, but I don't know if this one's actually running in the Crytek engine like Prey was. Will be interesting to see. I think it was a good way to end the show. Some people said it would have been better with Halo or Starfield, but I think showing off something brand new at the very end.
They didn't show enough for
They did
what it was.
but I feel like the game's probably decently far along, and they're probably gonna want to get it to a point, and then they're gonna do what they're doing with Back for Blood, where the game's playable right now and a relatively finished state, but they're just like playtesting it to make sure it's good and fixing bugs as they go. So I think we'll see more on it relatively soon. Maybe something for Tokyo Game Show. That's in September, I want to say. September, October. It's in the fall sometime. Or maybe the Game Awards in December. So I think we'll see Redfall again, and before it's out next summer. Because it's not that far off. Like, it's a year off, which is not that far in the world of video games, and with the world moving as fast as it is. Okay. I want to go over rapid fire ask the Nintendo Direct. So we started with the new Smash Brothers character, Kazuya from Tekken, which had started with him throwing Ganondorf off of a cliff into magma, and he kind of just kept doing it with other characters. And the very last one was Kirby. And then Kirby just floats up behind him. I don't really care about... don't care about Tekken. Don't play a lot of Tekken, so I'm not familiar with this character. I don't think you play Tekken either.
I have Tekken. Out of all the characters, I don't know why they would have chosen him.
I thought
okay.
Hayashi or the other dude who's like the face of Tekken, like the Ryu of Tekken.
Yeah.
Would have been, or King. Was it King's one of the guys in there with the cat mask? I know some of the characters from Tekken. It's King, right?
No, I think they chose the right character to showcase Tekken. It's just why Tekken? I don't know. I wouldn't have said Tekken.
Well, I mean, now you can finally have that Street Fighter Tekken fighting game crossover you've always wanted. Because Ryu and Ken are there.
When did the last Tekken game come out?
7? It was a few years ago. I mean, Noctis is in that game from Final Fantasy 15.
Okay. I don't even remember that one, so maybe I just missed.
It's on Steam.
Maybe it was more popular than I thought it was, so they figured let's cash in on that.
Well, Nintendo decided on the characters, so...
Oh, okay.
It was interesting. Then the next one they showed was Worms Rumble. A change on the existing Worms formula. I think it looks fine. Probably not something I really want to play. It looked fine.
It's another one of those physicsy type games, isn't it? Party physics.
No, it's more like competitive 4-player like arena game with pixely arty thing.
You're fighting each other as a worm.
Yeah, as a worm. Yeah. You are right in that the regular Worms game is like a physics game, but not this one.
Interesting.
The new, was it Mario Party Superstar?
Okay.
With a lot of N64 Mario Party stuff.
Hey, I liked Mario Party. It's a good way to waste an afternoon when you...
And a way to end friendships.
Sure. It's like, I'm just owning you. This is no longer fun.
I just remember the Wii one and sitting down with my friend, and he was playing with his now wife's brother.
Okay.
And the mini game comes up where you have to shake the can.
Oh, yeah.
On the Wii one, and he looks over and he's like, "You guys are screwed."
And you look at him going, "That's not something to be proud of, man." But yeah, no, I think the biggest problem with that is you have to keep your mini games interesting. So it'll be interesting to see what their new mini games will be.
A lot of them are old ones. They said it's like 100 plus of the
Okay.
old ones. So, and they're playable with the controller. You don't need any motion controls, apparently. Maybe motion controls are optional, but I don't know. So, again, we didn't see a lot about it, and everything's playable online with like a save state system where you can just get the people back together and come back in. That's kind of cool.
Okay, so now it's online, not hot seat. So you don't have to be with your party anymore.
Yeah, so you can have remote parties, like the cool kids are having now. Which would be fun for people who like to watch VTubers. I'm sure there'll be a lot of VTubers who will play Mario Party together online and do actually ridiculous things. Moving on. The next thing that was the big announcement was it's been 19 years since the last 2D Metroid game that wasn't a remake. Samus Returns on 3DS doesn't count, and we got the new Metroid Dread. Did you see the trailer for this one? You showed it off?
Very briefly, I don't like platformers. Metroid has never been my type of game. Yeah. I have no major thoughts on this one.
A lot of people who are
Metroid for me, so.
Yeah, a lot of people who are big Metroid fans were super excited by this, and I was like, oh, cool. And then I saw it was full price, and I'm like, I'm not gonna take a chance on a new Metroid game that's full price. I'm sorry, Metroid fans. But if you want to spend full price on a Metroid game, that's your business, and I will not think any less of you. It's just, for me, I'm not that big of a Metroid fan. I've played all the Prime games. I was looking forward to Prime 4, but I'm not going to... But that's a first-person shooter. I'm just not as in on the direct sequel of a game I've never played, which was Metroid Fusion. Okay. Since you have nothing else, I'm just going to move on to Monster Hunter Stories 2, which we saw at the Capcom one in a little more detail there, actually. The JRPG Monster Hunter game. Any thoughts on this one?
How I Want to Train a Dragon version of Monster Hunter World.
Kind of.
Or was that the other one?
This is the basically How to Train Your Dragon, where you befriend the monsters rather than
hunt them.
Yeah, well, you still fight them in random encounters, but
Metroid Prime 4, which we previously announced. But today,
and they kept calling them monsties, and that
I like
pissed
the
me off.
idea of having a dragon buddy.
please take a look.
Yeah. I think that's fine. I've never played the first one. This looked kind of interesting. Probably wait a bit to see if it's okay to play it on its own. But there's a lot of stuff coming out this year. And it is cool, but I'm like on the fence about it. And you don't have a Switch, so...
Switch, so it doesn't matter how much I like having a dragon buddy, I can't until I buy a Switch.
Yeah, so maybe by the time you buy a Switch, it'll be cheaper, and then that will drive your purchase too.
Exactly.
Okay, and next we had a... Oh, sorry.
That is not the game I'm going to buy a Switch for. Let's put it that way.
I know it's not. Next we had WarioWare, whatever the new one's called. I don't personally like the WarioWare games. I don't think they're bad. I just have never been a fan of them. I kind of wish they'd make more games like Wario Land Shake It or Wario Shake It. I can't remember what that one's called. The one on the Wii that basically got thrown out to die, but was actually really cool and a game I'd never heard of ever in my life. And then when I saw people play it online, I was like, where was this game? This looked fun. But then we get another WarioWare. Any thoughts on this one?
I never liked Wario. I prefer Luigi's Haunted Mansion and, you know, Mario
Luigi's
Kart.
Mansion, yeah.
So if I was going to do any one thing, it would not have been Wario. But, I mean, each to their own.
Well, they made a Luigi's Mansion 3 2019, I want to say.
Okay, so they've done it. Now it's Wario's turn. We haven't touched him in a while. Let's go back. Is it Wario?
Let's do Wario next, yeah.
Yeah, it's his turn.
Wario's turn to have a game. Butter.
Yeah.
Okay, and next we had the Mario and plus Rabbids. Was it Stars of Freedom, the sequel to the original one, which I have, and you thought this was a weird crossover, and
I've never seen it, so this was new for me.
I assure you that it is a weird crossover, but it's actually a good game.
Well, I mean, the Raving
first one
Rabbits was fun. I remember having it back in the day, and it was a little bit ridiculous and quirky and zany, and I like that. So putting that into Nintendo's Mario franchises, I think it's interesting. I've never played the first one, so maybe I should go back and look at it.
Well, it has well, I have it, so if you ever get a Switch,
Stealing it.
if you ever get a Switch, you can
Sorry,
totally
borrowing it.
It's funny that like Rabid Mario is like a hillbilly.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, it's funny how the characters are, and some of them are really cool. Some of them aren't as useful. Peach is actually one of the more useful characters, and she's not a damsel in distress. She like gets a gun, the whole deal. So I like that. Let's break the tropes up, people. Have a Super Peach World or something.
Yeah, that. Okay. Screw Wario. They should have made a Peach game.
Well, they've made one Peach game at some point.
Have they? What was it?
I don't know. I've never played it, but I have heard there is a Peach platformer out there that exists for some sort of Nintendo platform, but I have never heard of it. Yeah,
I'm gonna promise myself to look
Super
this up.
Peach something. I don't know. Then we have a Super Monkey Ball. When these guys aren't making ridiculous Yakuza games, they're making remakes of Super Monkey Ball. It was 3 games, I want to say, in a collection. Look, I know you guys want to make Super Monkey Ball. You want to bring it back to the mainstream, but Rin and I want Dragon Kart.
Yes, give me Dragon Kart.
Yes. If you have not played Yakuza Like a Dragon and you have no idea what Dragon Kart is, you are missing out. One of the power-ups is you just pull out a bazooka and blow a guy up in front of you. Glorious. Machine guns, and there's like booster things, throw oil. It's got all your jokes. Polish it up, make it its own game. Let's play all the Yakuza characters and add some other Sega characters for fun. Who cares? Super Monkey Ball? Fine. Never played it. I'm sure anyone who has, super happy. We want Dragon Kart. It would just be so funny to see someone like Kiryu or Bijima in a little go-kart. Oh.
To make the cart smaller and the characters bigger, make it look as ridiculous as possible.
Yeah. Then we had Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camped or something. It had a weird title, and I was like, okay. Cool to see Advance Wars come back. Sucks that the 1 and 2 collection is a full-priced release. I think that's a bit much for games that are as old as they are, but that's me. I'm sure it'll do well. I liked Advance Wars. Advance Wars was fun, but I don't know how much I care about it now because I've tried games like Wargroove, which is very, very, very similar to Advance Wars, but is medieval,
So a two-player co-op
and one of the commanding officers in that is a dog. So I'm sorry, but you're not going to beat Caesar.
Next, please take a look at this.
And the dog units don't die in Wargroove, by the way. They just run away. Rather
Can't
than
kill
go-
dogs.
You can't kill the
That would be
dogs in
wrong.
Wargroove. They just run away. So Wargroove survives, but yeah. Advanced Wars 1 and 2, cool to see it back. Would have been cool to see Advanced Wars 1, 2, and Dual Strike, but we're not going to talk about Days of Ruin. You probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but that's fine. Okay, there was like a teaser trailer and stuff. There was stuff about a Danganronpa collection. Don't play these games. They're meh. Did you hate Danganronpa 2? Or we're just like, why?
They just had absolutely no interest in it. So yeah, it's just weird game. Weird game.
Well, the first one had an interesting premise, but the second one jumps the shark. Actually, it probably jumps about 6 sharks. One of the trials, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there's a trial in the middle where one character apparently killed 2 people, and to hide the body did a thing. And the thing they did to hide a body took 2 people to pull it off.
Finding their weak point is key. By targeting it, the number of consecutive actions you can perform in a combo will increase.
Okay, we're done.
I'm
I'm
too
gonna-
blank. I
Oh
can't
my
even
God.
imagine what that might have looked like, but okay.
Well, I can explain it to you off camera.
Yes, we'll figure it out later.
Okay. There was a couple other things in there. We're finally getting Fatal Frame Maiden of Black Water in North America. This game came out as Project Zero Maiden of Black Water in Europe, and Fatal Frame Maiden of Black Water in Japan. Never got a North American release on the Wii U. But this version is coming to everything, basically. Xbox, Switch, PC, PlayStation, I think I said, but maybe not. Got everything. So
Hey, I'm really happy about it. I can finally finish off my series, and I don't have to bitch.
there's no
How
physical
come we
version
never get
apparently.
it?
There's no physical version apparently, which is annoying. So
Oh, I collect that, so it would be nice to have a physical copy. But hey, maybe they'll think about that later.
well,
but
there's
hey,
always
at least you'll
limited
get to
run
play
game.
it.
That is true.
I'd rather play it than not play it.
There was a big section on Shin Megami Tensei 5. If I did I talk about Shin Megami Tensei 5 yet?
Nope, not yet.
Okay. They showed more of it. I think my brother's description of this is Pokemon for insane people
That was the latest
fits.
for Shin
You think
Megami
it fits after watching that trailer?
Perhaps.
This is the newest game in the series.
Or
It's
like,
darker, for sure. It's a lot darker.
yeah, it is much darker,
It's
and
not
See a few more
bubblegum
Nintendo
pop
Switch headlines.
no, it
that you get out of Pokemon.
yeah, it's definitely something. And if you're a fan of Shin Megami Tensei games that aren't Persona, people forget that Persona is a Shin Megami Tensei game. Well,
I
5
didn't know.
Yeah, 5 dropped the title. 5 dropped the title entirely, but all the other ones are marked Shin Megami Tensei. So 5, my brother's looking forward to it. I'd be remiss if I didn't point it out. Then we had a bunch of Zelda stuff. There was the Zelda Game & Watch. They reminded people that Skyward Sword's port is coming. And then there was Breath of the Wild 2 teaser. Number 2. With Link's new weird arm thing. Overall, I was like, okay. I kind of would just rather play the game at this point, but it's still probably almost a year off. I'm feeling.
standalone game.
But COVID screwed up a lot of things with game development.
We just have to wait a little bit longer, that's all.
Oh man, I can't wait. There's no games to play at all.
Except for reboots and remakes and part 3s and part 4, etc., etc.
Are you kidding? There's so many new games coming. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of sequels and stuff, but there's always sequels.
Yeah.
And
people like
reboots,
more of what they like.
There was definitely some cool other stuff that probably skipped my view. There was a couple other interesting games on the Japanese Nintendo Direct, and there was a few other games that got announced other places, like Rune Factory 4 getting a other console releases.
That is what is going to sell the well, Rune Factory 4 and 5 is what is going to sell me that Switch.
But then Rune Factory 4 is coming to PC, so now you don't need one.
So 4 isn't going to sell it, but 5 might.
Maybe.
Unless I wait long enough. We'll see.
Depends. Even if you bought 4 when it's new, will you be able to get through Rune Factory 4 fast enough?
Perhaps not. So maybe they won't sell the Switch to me.
Maybe they won't. Maybe the Switch 2 or whatever will be out. Or the non-existent Switch Pro that they didn't announce. I didn't think they were going to announce it. They never really announce hardware at E3. That's more of a Sony and Microsoft thing, is be like, we have new hardware coming.
I guess we find out when we find out.
Yeah, I just assume it's going to be a silent revision at this point. There might be some differences, but people are thirsty for it. Oh, it was a pretty stuffed E3. There's a lot of people been like saying, it's not that much stuff. There's nothing new. Blah, 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 blah. I think they're just full of it. Or we're just like, I don't like these games. None of these games are good. Just to be like jerk faces. I don't know.
Well, there was some stuff that that showed last year that they re-showed again with a little bit more content. So,
yeah.
But again, it's a lot of. Well, where were the really innovative, creative new ideas? Were there any? There was a lot of shooters.
Yeah, there's always a lot of shooters though, but shooters are really popular.
There's a lot of stuff that reminded me of other stuff, so it'd be interesting to see. I guess I think that's the problem with not showing gameplay footage. When you don't show any gameplay footage, you lose the ability to see, hey, that's that new thing we're showing off. If it's just CG beautiful, gorgeous videos, well, we've seen a dime a dozen of beautiful, gorgeous CG videos.
I guess. I think a lot of, like, besides... But I'm pretty sure most of what we saw was did not feel like CG. Hold on.
Well, there was a lot of stuff that was.
Okay, so Starfield was basically CG. Contraband was CG.
Yep. Redfall.
Redfall. Yep. I'm just going through the list here and looking. No, mostly Plague Tale.
Plague Tale was mostly CG. Yep.
It was all CG. There was no gameplay whatsoever. Atomic Heart Shredded Replaced. Those ones all look. Athenium Chronicles, whatever, was. It showed gameplay, but when you have an epic RPG, it's not a lot there. Forza showed a lot of gameplay. We already talked about Redfall. The Ascent was gameplay.
The Flight Sim was gameplay.
Yeah. So, I've got 5. I counted 5.
Yeah, so I think that
Outer Worlds 2. Sorry, Outer Worlds 2, which was the most meta one. So 6.
Yeah, that was like...
Basically 6. 6 of 30 isn't bad. 31. They keep saying 27 is 27 Game Pass games, but there's 28 because Redfall was there. Redfall was 31. I guess if you include stuff. Oh yeah, that was the other announcement, was that Yakuza Like a Dragon, the game we mentioned earlier that you should totally play for Dragon Kart, is getting added to Game Pass, which was cool because I like that game. It's a good game.
Hello there. I'm Eiji Aonuma, producer
If you want to
of the
laugh,
Zelda series.
cry, and do all sorts of other emotions, I think Yakuza Like a Dragon will serve you well. There's lots of laughing though.
It's a lot of like, really, what?
Kinchi. That was so good.
Oh man.
It's like, say a word. Oh, that was good.
Like, it's just a continual running gag. Like, it just keeps going.
All the
You
side
think it'll
stories
stop
are.
eventually? It doesn't. It keeps going.
Yeah. Oh, the side stories are so good. Yeah, but like real highlights of E3, users was basically Rune Factory 4 getting ports. I don't remember where that was announced, but that was announced somewhere, and that made you happy. So
Yep.
that was cool.
I can finally play it.
I was really excited to see Fatal Frame finally come over. That's been too long. It was nice to see some more on Halo Infinite, even though they didn't show a lot of like they did with gameplay last year that people were whining about because of draw distance stuff.
This year, the original Legend of Zelda reaches its 35th anniversary. While we don't have any campaign,
I think the games I'm most looking forward to actually playing now are like Back 4 Blood, this year anyway, Back 4 Blood, Halo, because I played the other ones. Quite fun. Finally gonna get around to playing Hades. Looking forward to the Ascent.
Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link.
And I'll probably try like every other game on there, like Atomic Heart and Replaced. And Somerville, if the dog doesn't die. Were there any ones on the Xbox showcase that really were like, I just want to play this, or watch me play it, because that's kind of what you do sometimes?
You know, why play myself if I can have you play for me? But no, I would be curious to try out Redfall, Ascend. Obviously, I like Rune Factory. Give me Rune Factory. I think I would have fun in Forza, just, you know, running around and running through the pinatas and doing whatever.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff in there I would definitely want to try.
Hopefully Forza has some sort of split screen mode. I highly doubt it because of what they're going for, but I hope so, because that could be something fun to do on rainy days.
Yes, on rainy days you stare at a non-rainy sky.
Yeah, a beautiful sky in Mexico. I do have to say, like, that game was gorgeous. But racing games always are. It's like, look at this cool thing we can make. I remember there were people like, are there convertibles in the game? And there's actually one in the trailer you can see. But they only show it for like half a second. And I only saw it the second time because someone had mentioned it, that they wanted it in the game. But otherwise, I think it's bedtime for you and time to wrap this up. This went on for a while, but it was kind of fun just chatting about these games and going through all that was announced. So
yes, we just have to wait for the EA Play, and that's about it. It's
yeah,
almost done.
Yeah, but it was nice to have E3 back in some capacity. It's not quite the same as a normal E3 where we get hands-off demos and people talking about what they got, or hands-on demos where people got to play them. I would have actually liked for them to do some hands-on demos, like just have demos for people to try these games. They did it last year with some games. That's how I got to try like Dandy Ace and a couple others.
What did you think?
That is a game I'm looking forward to finally coming to console. It's Dandy Ace. But didn't see anything more about that here. I could probably babble for another half hour if you let me, so let's just cut it here.
Yep.
Yeah, so everyone have a good night, a good week. Hope you enjoyed E3 because it was a good show. And we'll see you next time. Bye!